Hey, so when I first started my channel, I made videos mentioning the sun in astrology, but not much else. And even those were not thorough enough, so I knew I was going to create new ones on the same topic, but this time giving much more information. Also, I got called out by my friend, why am I making videos about the sun in total darkness? The lighting was totally off. So when I was preparing for today's video, I realized I will not be able to put everything into one video. So there will be a couple of them. I'm not sure how many, but I think they will be interesting. So if you want, stay tuned. The symbolism of the sun provides many contradictions. When the sun was not a god, for many cultures it was a manifestation of the Godhead or the celestial epiphany. It was also seen as the supreme deity's son or the rainbow's brother. Samitic or Samodaic indigenous peoples who live in the tundra belt of Russia consider sun and moon as the two eyes of Num, or the heavens, the sun being the good and the moon the evil eye. The sun is the source of light, heat, and life, and its rays represent the celestial or spiritual influences which the earth receives. Sun gives life to things. The sun's rays make them manifest, not just by making them perceivable, but because the rays represent extension of the primeval dot and insofar as they measure space. The sun's rays were traditionally 7 in number, corresponding to the 6 dimensions of space and to the extra cosmic dimension represented by center itself. This relationship between the sun's rays and cosmic geometry is expressed in Pythagorean symbolism called the central fire. If the light radiated by the sun is intellectual knowledge, the sun itself is cosmic intellect, just as in the individual being, the heart is the seat of the faculty of knowing. The name Heliopolis, citadel or city of the sun, was often given to the primal spiritual center. The preeminent sun god and god of initiation, Apollo, came from Hyperborean world, and his arrow was like a ray of sunlight. The sun is Vishnu's emblem as well as that of Buddha. It is also the universal symbol of the monarch of the empire. The sun is an aspect of the tree of the world, as well as the tree of life, the former being identified with the sun's ray. Under a different aspect, the sun is also the principle of drought, the opposite to the fertilizing principle of the rain, and the destroyer. So the Chinese believe that excessive heat from the sun should be destroyed by shooting arrows at it, and sometimes rain-making rituals involve the sacrifice of a solar animal. The solar principle is represented by a large number of animals, birds, and plants like lotus flower, chrysanthemum, sunflower, stag, lion, eagle, and its metal is gold. Central Asian peoples, more specifically the inhabitants of Amur Basin or Halong River, this is a perennial river forming a natural border between Russian Far East and Northeast China. So people there believe that in the beginning there were 3 or 4 suns, and their burning heat and blinding light made the earth uninhabitable. So a god or a hero saved mankind by slaying the first 2 or 3 suns with his arrows. According to some of these myths, these original suns actually set the earth on fire, and coal was produced by this fire. Cyclical creation and destruction make the sun a symbol of Maya, mother of the differentiated universe and of cosmic illusion. In another way, the cycle of the sun symbolizes the alternation of life, death, and rebirth, both in its daily manifestation as well as in the annual manifestation. Because of this, sun is regarded as a symbol of resurrection and immortality. The Chinese immortals fed upon the essence of the sun as well as upon sunflower seeds, of which the relationship with the sun is evident. The sun is the center of the heavens, just as the heart is the center of the body, and spiritual sun can be termed as heart or eye of the world. As the heart of the world, the sun is sometimes depicted in the center of the wheel of the zodiac and is manifested in a similar way by the 12 Aditya. These are the 12 sun gods, as the sun god Surya takes on various forms as the 12 Adityas. Although the universal symbol of the sun chariot is generally related to the sun's diurnal transit, the chariot wheel and Surya's chariot had one wheel, is itself primarily a symbol of the radiant sun. In its role of cosmic symbol, the sun ranks as a true astral religion, its worship dominating the great civilizations of antiquity with their figures of gods and heroes like Atum, Egyptian god of the universe, Osiris, Baal, previously called Hadad, Mithras, Helios, Apollo, all of them embodying the powers of creation and the sources of light and life represented by the sun. In astrology, the sun is the symbol of life, day, light authority, male gender, and all things radiant. It may seem that in astrology the Sun is lower to the level of a mere planet and is compared to Mars or Jupiter, and this is because its influence is divided into two quite separate fields, one of direct influence through its position in the heavens and the other indirect, being that of the zodiac. But all the influence exerted by the signs of the zodiac is essentially solar, being under the influence of the Sun reflected or polarized by the Earth's orbit. Peoples or cultures with astral mythologists regard the sun as a father symbol, and as such the sun has always been the astrologer's symbol of the male principle of generation and of the principle of authority, of which the father is the individual's earliest embodiment. So in the natal chart, sun also stands for or is the source of social drives, civilization, ethics, and all major aspects of existence. Its range of properties stretches from the negative superego, which crushes the individual with taboos, principles, rules, or prejudices, to the positive, idealized ego, a higher image of self to which the individual attempts to lift oneself. So the day star therefore locates the individual within a life which may be strictly regulated or highly sublimated. It represents the outlook offered by one's personality through psychic synthesis at the highest level of the greatest demands, the loftiest aspirations, and the strongest form of individuation, or else in the total failure of pride or power madness. It stands for individual achieving the goals of, for example, marriage or parenthood, in worldly success, which is an extension of one's personal qualities, and in the very fact that one has achieved success by embodying the powers and authority inherent in the ultimate solarization of guide, leader, ruler, and hero. The black sun is the sun in its nightly transit, when it leaves this world to shed its light upon another. The Aztecs depicted the black sun carried on the back of the god of the underworld. It is the antithesis of the midday sun as the maleficent and destroying absolute of death. The Mayas depicted black sun as a jaguar. The great god of the midday sun in the Aztec pantheon, Huitzilopochtli, was depicted as an eagle holding a starry serpent in its beak. He served a dual purpose as the god of war and as the god of sun. In Central American tradition, solar symbolism contrasts with lunar, so the sunset is not recognized as death, but as a descent into the lower regions, into the kingdom of dead. And because it can be quite difficult to talk about the sun without any mention of the moon, I must add here that unlike the moon, the sun has the privilege of passing through hell without undergoing the condition of death. Alchemists saw the black sun as unworked, primal matter still to be set on the path of development. Traditionally, the black sun predicts the unleashing of destructive forces upon the universe, society, or the individual. It brings disaster, suffering, and death. It is the inverted image of the noonday sun, hence the universal sense of ill omen attached to eclipses. The ancient Mexican believed that we live under the fifth sun. The four earlier suns were those successively of the tiger, of wind, of rain or fire, and of water. The first was that of Tezcatlipoca, whose animal disguise was jaguar, linked to cold, to darkness, and to the north. The second of Quetzalcoatl in his original shape. His name means beautiful feathered serpent, linked to witchcraft and the west. The third of the rain god Tlaloc, linked to the south, and the fourth of the water goddess Chalchiutlicue, linked to the east. Our sun, the fifth, was placed beneath the sign of one of the fire gods, Xiuhtecuhtli, the old god, sometimes depicted as butterfly. All these ages, which they called suns, ended in cataclysms when the four tigers devoured mankind, the four winds blew them away, and the four rains and the four waters drowned them. The present age will be brought to an end by four earthquakes, and that will be the finish of the fifth sun. In the tarot, the sun, source of light, follows the moon, a reflection of that light. It is the 19th major arcanum and one of the most enigmatic. So that will be the topic of my next video, the number of the sun. This card, according to various authors, expresses the happiness of the individual who feels as one with nature, true marriage, happiness, the united family, clarity of judgment and of expression, literary or artistic talents, fulfillment. But it can also represent window dressing, superficial or misleading presentation of something, only to create a favorable impression, so deceiving appearance. At its best, spiritually speaking, the sun reveals reality and the truth about oneself and the world. Through its enlightenment, both physical and spiritual, one can face judgment. The sun sharpens awareness of limitations. It is the light of knowledge and the spring of energy. Astrologically, the sun is dispenser of light, heat, and will. It is a central motor to the system or body. Fixedness, continuity, constancy, these are closely related to centrality. So what can be derived from centrality in the sun is consistency, but also inertia and laziness. The sun is the principle of presence incarnate, and because of that, it is the organ of existence and life itself. In human nature, it can be said it effectuates the thought of, here I am. Solar or sun people never fail to make their presence noticeable and felt. In the world of feelings, sun may cause self-reliance, faithfulness, nobility, or pride, arrogance, dictatorship, and so on. It rules authority in an inner and absolute sense, spiritually or morally. As the main organ of the Leo sphere, being the king and ruler of the system, the sun naturally causes egotism as well as antagonism. The Egyptians considered God as the eye of the universe, and a point within a circle was regarded by them as a symbol of the deity surrounded by eternity. The Greek for sun is Helios, meaning shining light. The Assyrian sun god is Sin. The Chaldeans symbolized Yusuf, the light of life, by an equilateral triangle, and Hindus similarly figured the great Aum, or Om, dwelling in the infinite. Now, Om is the resonating frequency sound of universe according to Hindu mythology. So the symbol of the sun as we know it is indicated by a circle with a dot in the center of it. And it can be said that the central dot represents the ego, whereas the self can be said to consist of the whole with the center dot. This circle dot was used by Pythagoreans and later Greeks to represent the first metaphysical being, the monad or the absolute, supreme being, the totality of all things. In art, sun is depicted as the sun cross or solar wheel, and it mirrors the human life cycle from youth to old age and how its energy changes and flows through the seasons of life. And this is it for today. Sometimes when I'm filming these videos, I get overly excited because I want to share so much more, and in the final editing, a lot is cut out. It simply has to be. Otherwise, these videos would be too long and they would lose their value, at least from my perspective. A quote for today is by Napoleon Bonaparte, French general, first consul, and emperor of France, very fitting for the topic of this video as he was a Leo. Now, most know about Napoleon, but some interesting facts that are perhaps not so well known are that he discovered the Rosetta Stone. This is the granite slab carved in 3 ancient scripts, and it was discovered by his soldiers during the Egyptian campaign in 1799. Also, he wrote a romance novel, and it was rumored that he was afraid of cats. And he really was not that short. So he said, if I had to choose a religion, the sun as the universal giver of life would be my God. Thank you for being here today. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe and press a like button and let me know what you think in the comment section below. See you in a couple of days. Bye.